thing I want to get, especially for the new hires here, is that there's going to be a lot of times when the prospect is going to say, I got to think about it, I'm not really sure, or I need a couple months, or whatever. The thing is this, that unsuccessful departments do what you guys were doing before, is that they're like, okay, and they just delay it. You don't want to do that because they might not understand that there's other options. Or it's like, I don't know if any of you guys know on the showroom floor, but if somebody comes in, and let's say I'm the salesperson, and I go to approach, almost reflexively, the prospect is going to say, I'm just looking. You know what I mean? I'm just looking. It's just a natural defense. Now, when somebody's like getting to that point where you're trying to make them, commit, or is this a real opportunity? You really want to buy a car or not? They might turn around and put their defenses up. Remember, they're on the phone. They're not in front of you. They might turn around and say, I need to think about it a little bit. I need to do this. This is also another reason why it needs to go to somebody else as quickly as possible. Just like, how do you handle that if somebody says, I'm just looking? And they're like, oh, okay, I don't want to upset them. You need somebody that's got experience that can engage the prospect and identify what the true scenario is. Because he did it perfectly right there. He asked me, well, what was my concerns? And if it's money, which a lot of times it is about the pricing, somebody might not have to put the money down. They don't have any down payment. You've got different programs. There's possible ways that somebody could leave here without putting a down payment down, either because they use the equity from their trade, or they use the perceived equity, you know what I'm talking about, in their trade, or they deferred the down payment, which is up to the dealership if they want to do something like that or not. Or there's programs that actual companies work with automotive dealerships during tax season, where it's actually, there's companies that will advance people money against their tax returns, etc. There's a bunch of stuff that you might not know about. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, on top of that, today's the last day of the month. Internally, does everybody know when the best time to buy a car is? Huh? Today, absolutely. It's the last day of the month. Again, that's the other thing. When you are getting to today, you want to not just work on your fresh leads. You want to go through anybody that you spoke to. Now, I want to show, and I want you to pan the room real quick. Show of hands, who believes this is a true statement? The hardest part of this entire internet department is getting somebody on the phone. Let there be hands. Okay, good. That's true. 14 years later, 14 years ago in internet sales and business development, and still today, it's the same thing as it was 14 years ago. The hardest part is getting somebody on the phone. As per J.D. Power, you're only going to connect with about 11 to 14% of the people that you attempt to contact. Do some math. Out of the 120 attempts that you make or take in a day, you're only going to get about 16.8, 17 bodies on the phone. That's it. So follow me on this. If you finally get somebody on the phone, that's the hardest part of all this stuff. You don't let them go. 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 I'm not saying that you're gonna, piss them off or wear them down. Nothing like that. What I'm saying is the difference is this. And for the record, I am not saying that people are fish or sheep or animals in any way, shape, or form in a negative sense. But just try to get a visual analogy. If you are a deep sea fishing, which I don't fish, so I'm using just a visual here. If you're in a big fishing chair and you're on a boat and you've got that deep sea fishing rod in there and you've got like this huge monster, I don't know, like swordfish or something, some big fish that's on there. And usually, I don't know if you ever watch like the Nature Channel or what have you, when you bring one of those big monsters in, there's usually some people with the galoshes on the boat, they got a net, and they're going to try to scoop the little, sea monster up and throw it in. Can you imagine you get them over there, and there's nobody there? There's nobody there. There's no net, there's no shotgun, there's nothing. You're paying attention, guys. Make sure you're paying attention. So there's nothing there to help get that fish, into the boat. So what would happen? If it's just you got to think, damn, I got this fish. I mean, I just sat here all day, literally sat in this chair, seatbelt in, all day. Finally got this monster on the line. Gotta let him go. I can't. What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna leave him there. I'm gonna, cut the line. And here's the thing: I'm gonna run downstairs, or I might leave him on the hook. Right? But I'm gonna run downstairs. So it's gonna, cause slack in there, and I'm gonna go get, what do you call it, like a big net. One of those big old nets. I'm going to get 2 nets. I'm going to scoop them up like a salad, right? I'm going to run out to the boat. I'm going to hope he's still there when I get down there. You see my point? It's ludicrous. It makes no sense whatsoever. If you've got that person on the phone, what you want to start to do is instant TOs. And Mark, that's something I want you to understand as the internet director. It has to be instantaneous. if you turn around and doesn't this make sense? If you basically, if you're inundated, you're busy or what have you because you got 50 million things, I respect that. But if she got a TO and it sits on your desk, even if it's like 20 minutes or 10 minutes, you've got to try call that person and get them back on the phone. And it's absolutely insane because if we all raise our hand, and it's on video, so I have proof, you all raised your hand, I said what the hardest part of this is getting the person on the phone. We got them on the phone, now we're going to throw them back. And we're going to hope that somebody else can get that person back on the phone. We might or might not be lucky. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep,
So
yep.
one of the things I've got to come up with while I'm here is come up with a better system for you guys on how you handle this. Because you are having some traction, right? You are engaging people. We'll talk about more connections later, but let's talk about the low-hanging fruit, the people that you got a hold of. You want to not just let them go and hope that they're there. You need to have literally presence in here 100% of the time. If the internet director is not in here, there's got to be somebody's got to be on fire out there. My personal belief. But if somebody's on fire out there, there needs to be somebody else in here. And again, I know it's a small organization, so you might look for the internet sales consultants. 100% of my clients, 100% of my clients either do it one of two ways. There's only two options: A and B, not C, D, E, F, Z, none of that. Option A is you have coordinators and you have dedicated consultants that do not take floor ups. I'm not saying that's what you should do here. I'm just giving you an example. And what happens is, let's say they'll have two other computers, you know, and what they're going to do is when they're not doing a product presentation, demo drive, and delivery, they're going to be stationed in here, okay? And they're going to be coordinators as well. And what I tell them is, listen, pretend that these people don't even exist. Not in a bad way, because if it was me, if I was a showroom salesperson and I had 300-400 leads in here, I would pretend not one of you guys existed. Why? I would pound the crap out of the phones and make as many appointments as I could for myself, on top of whatever you made that you fed me. Does that make sense? So that's option A. Option B is, and let me explain that again. These people are sales consultants, but they don't work on the floor. The only thing they eat off is stuff out of this department. That's it. That's option A. Option B is that you can turn on and have an open floor. However, you get point guards. How many salespeople on the showroom floor?
About 5 or 6. 6.
Okay, 6. What I would probably do is get 2 point guards, like you were mentioning before. I think it's a brilliant idea. You have to get 2 more computers in here, or at least one other computer, because there's probably a time that not everybody's here at the same time. But you want to have, my thing, another computer there, another computer right there. That's what I would do. And it doesn't have to be a special computer. Just follow me. When these 2 point guards are not doing a product presentation, demo drive, or delivery on the showroom floor, their asses are planted in here. Why? They should be doing instant TOs. Think about how sick this would be. Proactive versus reactive. Proactive is if it's me in here, which is going to be, I'm trying to teach you today, tomorrow I'm going live hard all day, and probably tonight. If I am hearing you on the phones, and I'm over there, this is my money. I'm getting up on the phones, I'm like, look, let me get on the phone. I'm going to jump and I'm going to take that. If you don't sound perfect, or if I hear a stutter, utter, whatever, I'm jumping in. Not to take it away from you in a bad way, because we both eat off of that. We both make money off of that. It's in my best interest if I turn around and proactively engage that. Not just wait for you to turn and say, help. No, I'd rather proactively engage. Let's say if you're looking for inventory, something like that. Give me that right there. Does that make sense to everybody? Think about how much more effective this department would be if you had people that were just like, not like prison on the yard, but they're on their post. They're just paying attention what's going on in this room so they can introduce themselves into the process quicker, more efficiently. Make sense? And then